Listen to me. I don't know who counted you out. I don't know who told you that you're not good enough. But I came here to tell you something real. This is your season, not to prove them wrong, but to prove you right. You've been distracted. You've been drained. You've been pouring into people who never even brought you a cup. Always available, always present, always exhausted. And now you're wondering why you're stuck? Let me break it down. You've been focusing on them when you were supposed to be building you. Today, that changes. Today is about putting the mirror in front of your face and saying, I'm done explaining myself. I'm done begging to be seen. I'm about to get so locked in on me that the world will have no choice but to watch. You want to shock them? Then stop showing them your plan and start showing them your progress. This ain't just motivation. This is a wake-up call. I need you to give me the next few minutes like your life depends on it. Because it does. Let's go to work. You see, the reason most people never shock the world is because they're too busy watching everybody else do it. They're sitting back, scrolling, comparing, measuring, wishing, liking, watching, while the clock is ticking on their own potential. You out here acting like life is a dress rehearsal, like you're going to get another shot at this. You don't. You get one. And too many people wasted trying to imitate someone else instead of dominating who they are. I'm telling you right now, you've got to become obsessed with your own growth. Not curious, not interested, not I'll get to it when I have time. Nah, obsessed. You have to be hungry to become the version of you that only you can be. See, the problem is we live in a world that rewards noise, not depth. A world that celebrates visibility, not transformation. And so people get caught up. They start chasing validation instead of evolution. But let me ask you this. How can you be seen if you haven't built anything worth looking at? How can you expect others to believe in you when you don't even invest in yourself? It's time to shift. It's time to look in the mirror and say, you know what? From this day forward, I'm done being casual about my purpose. I'm done being passive about my potential. I'm about to go all in on me, because you don't need more people. You don't need more applause. You don't need more advice. What you need is more discipline, more focus, more accountability to your own damn goals. Everybody wants to blow up. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to live the dream, but most people won't do what it takes when nobody's watching. You think greatness is built in front of crowds? Nah. Greatness is built when it's just you, your grind, your pain, and your decision to keep going anyway. You've got to wake up every morning and make a decision to be better than you were yesterday, period. I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about progress. I'm talking about getting 1 inch closer to who you're supposed to be. I'm talking about sharpening your mind, building your body, controlling your emotions, upgrading your habits, and protecting your environment. Let me ask you something real. When's the last time you locked your phone, turned off the noise, sat down with a journal and asked yourself, what do I really want? Not what your family wants, not what your friends expect. What do you want? Because until you figure that out, you're going to keep drifting. You're going to keep getting pulled in every direction, never rooted, never focused, never finished. But when you figure out what you're called to do, and then you go all in on that calling, that's when people start looking at you like, where did he come from? Where did she come from? You shocked them. Not because you tried to shock them, but because you were locked in on yourself for so long, they didn't even see it coming. I need you to get back to investing in the little things. Get back to taking care of the temple, your mind, your health, your habits. Get back to reading. Get back to writing. Get back to meditating. Get back to rising early, praying hard, and working like everything depends on it, because it does. And let me tell you this, you ain't gonna feel like doing it every day. Matter of fact, most days you won't. But if you only move when it feels good, you'll never go anywhere great. Growth doesn't feel good. Becoming who you were born to be is painful, it's lonely, it's frustrating, it's inconvenient, but that's what separates the average from the anointed, the willingness to do it anyway. People always ask me, how do I get to the next level? You want the truth? You get to the next level by doing the things that 95% of people are too lazy, too scared, or too distracted to do. You turn off the noise. You stop running from your reflection. You get serious about what you say you want. You stop talking about it and you be about it. Some of y'all are one decision away from your breakthrough, one routine away from momentum, one morning away from a different mindset, but you keep playing small because you're waiting for permission. You don't need permission, you need conviction. Conviction that says, if I don't do this, I will live the rest of my life wondering what could have been. Let that burn in your chest. Let that discomfort light a fire inside you, because the truth is, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to do it for you. This is on you. And that's not bad news. That's freedom. Because if it's on you, that means you don't have to wait on anybody. You don't have to be discovered. You don't have to be chosen. You don't have to be liked. You just have to get better every single day. You have to grind in silence, build in private, and let your life preach louder than your word. You think people are going to support you right away? They won't. Most won't see the vision. Most won't clap for the journey. Some will doubt you. Some will laugh. Some will disappear when you stop being available for their drama. Good, let them go. Because you don't owe anyone your energy. You owe yourself your growth. So I need you to stop making excuses. Stop blaming your past. Stop talking about what they did. This ain't about them. This ain't about what they think. This is about what you're becoming. You've been given a gift, a purpose, a calling, but it's your responsibility to do something with it. So stop wasting time looking at everyone else's highlight reel and start writing your own story. Start building, start becoming, start rising, start focusing so hard on your own transformation that the only thing people can say when they see you is, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. Let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear. You don't need to be seen right now. What you need is to build. What you need is to go dark for a season. What you need is focus, not followers. Everybody wants to go viral, but nobody wants to go internal. You want to be known, but you haven't done the work yet. You want to be famous before you've even found yourself. You want to be loud, but you don't even know what you're saying. And that's the problem. You think attention is success. It's not. Silence is where strength is built. Let me make it plain. When I was trying to get my life together, I wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't posting quotes. I wasn't asking people to believe in me. I was working. I was in the dark, building muscle, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Nobody saw it. Nobody clapped. But you know what? That's what made me dangerous. Because while they were watching each other, I was watching the mission. Some of you out here broadcasting moves that haven't even matured yet. You're showing people seeds that haven't even taken root, and then you wonder why it all falls apart. You're giving access to people who haven't earned it, sharing your goals with people who only pretend to support you, and it's killing your growth, killing your momentum, killing your clarity. You need to learn how to shut the door. Shut the door on distractions. Shut the door on people who drain you. Shut the door on the need to explain yourself. You're not in the business of convincing people. You're in the business of transforming. And transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in solitude. You got to learn how to disappear to develop. I'm talking real silence, not fake hustle silence, real build in the dark silence. The kind where your phone goes on do not disturb because you're disturbing your own life too much to let anybody else distract you. The kind of silence where your nights are filled with reading, praying, writing, training, thinking, plotting, not partying, not flexing, not showing, growing. And I know, it's hard. It's hard not to tell people what you're working on. It's hard not to post every little win. It's hard when you feel like you've been grinding and nobody even knows. But listen to me, they don't need to know yet. They don't need to clap right now. Because if you stay focused and stay silent, the results will scream so loud, they'll have no choice but to pay attention. You want to shock people? Then stop announcing the storm and start becoming the storm. You don't need a crowd to become great. You don't need applause to activate your anointing. You need discipline. You need vision. You need self-respect. The kind that says, I don't need your likes. I need my legacy. See, people chase attention because they don't trust the process. They want to skip the silence because it feels like nothing's happening. But hear me, the silence is the signal that something powerful is growing beneath the surface, just like a seed. You don't dig up the seed every day to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it. You wait. You protect it. That's what you got to do with your vision. Protect it. Guard it. Stop exposing it to people who aren't qualified to understand it. Stop trying to make them get it. They don't need to get it. You need to get it. That's it. That's all that matters. You got to be okay with being overlooked. You got to be okay being unseen for a season. You got to be okay being uninvited, unfollowed, and underestimated. Because while they're sleeping on you, you're building the kind of strength that can't be ignored forever. You know what makes people pause? You know what makes them ask, wait, where did you come from? It's when you show up after months, after years of silence, and you're not the same person anymore. You didn't post about it. You didn't talk about it. You just did it. You became it. That's how you shock the world. You walk in the room and your presence says everything your words never could. But you don't get that kind of power unless you disappear to develop. You've got to go deep. You've got to do the inner work that nobody claps for. Healing, discipline, sacrifice, structure, delayed gratification, the unsexy stuff. That's where your power is. Let them post, let them flash, let them party, let them laugh, let them underestimate you. But you go underground. You get clear, you work on your craft, you tighten your circle, you clean up your environment, you master your time, you sharpen your skills, you become obsessed with the mission. And when the time comes, when the moment is right, you step into the light, unrecognizable. You got to learn to stop explaining and start executing. The world doesn't need another talker. The world is looking for proof. You don't owe them words. You owe them results. And those results don't come from being loud. They come from being locked in. So stop waiting for someone to see you. Stop chasing people who don't even see themselves. Stop proving things to people who don't even believe in their own destiny. You believe, you commit, you disappear for a season, and you come back different. That's how you shock them. Let me say something that might hurt a little, but you need to hear it. Your pain is not the problem, your perspective is. What you've been through isn't the reason you're stuck. It's what you've decided to believe about what you went through that's holding you back. You think you're broken? You're not. You think you're behind? You're not. You think you're cursed? You're not. You're called, you're chosen. But you've been spending so much time asking why it happened instead of asking what it's trying to teach you. Everybody's got pain. Everybody's got a past. Everybody's got scars. But the people who shock the world, the ones who rise, they don't use pain as a reason to quit. They use it as fuel. They don't let it weaken them. They let it refine them. So here's the real question. What are you doing with your pain? Are you using it as a crutch, or are you using it as a classroom? Because your pain can either be a prison or it can be your platform. And only you get to decide. See, some of y'all went through things that should have taken you out. Abuse, neglect, rejection, betrayal, failure, loss. You've got every reason to be angry, every reason to shut down, every reason to fold. But here's what separates you. You're still standing. Yeah, you might be limping. You might still cry at night. You might still wrestle with the memories, but you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, that means you still have a purpose. It means you're not done. It means there's still something in you the world hasn't seen yet. You thought it broke you, but really it built you. You thought the setback was punishment, but it was preparation. You thought the heartbreak was the end, but it was just the beginning of the real you. The version that doesn't need validation, doesn't need comfort, doesn't need applause. The version that says, I survived the worst day of my life and I still didn't quit. So what's next? You've got to stop letting pain make you passive. Stop using your trauma as a timeline. Just because they hurt you, just because they left you, just because you failed, doesn't mean you have to stay there. You don't have to live in that story forever. You don't have to replay the same chapter over and over. You can flip the page and write something different. But you got to make a decision. There's a decision that says, I'm not going to let this pain define me. I'm going to let it deliver me. A decision that says, I'm not a victim of what I went through. I'm a product of how I came through it. You've got to shift. You've got to stop running from it. Stop numbing it. Stop covering it up and start using it. That pain is your power source. That pain is where your purpose was born. That pain, that thing you thought disqualified you, is exactly what qualifies you to do what you've been called to do. Let me tell you something. Some of the most powerful people walking this planet are not the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who were crushed and refused to stay broken. They're the ones who lost everything and rebuilt from the ground up. They're the ones who cried themselves to sleep and still woke up and went to war the next day. Because pain is not the enemy. Quitting is. Giving up on yourself because of what you went through, that's the real tragedy. You think your story discredits you, but it's the evidence that you're qualified to lead, to rise, to inspire, to build, to dominate. See, when you start seeing pain as training, everything changes. You stop asking, why me? And you start saying, train me. You start running and you start learning. You start growing, you start rising. You start becoming the version of you that doesn't just survive pain, but commands power through it. You know how you shock people? When they expected you to stay bitter and you came out better. When they thought the divorce would destroy you and it developed you. When they thought the loss would break your spirit and it birthed your calling. They thought that setback would bury you, but you used it as a foundation. They thought the rejection would silence you, but it gave you a voice. They thought you'd stay down, but you rose like you were born to. And you were. You were born to rise, born to bounce back, born to break cycles, born to overcome, born to do what no one else in your family ever did, born to become the blueprint for someone else who's still bleeding. But that only happens if you stop treating pain like a curse and start treating it like a classroom. So I need you to do something radical. I need you to look back at your pain, the thing you never talk about, and say, thank you. Not because it was right, not because it was easy, but because it grew you, because it unlocked something in you, because without it, you would have never become the person you're becoming right now. And I know it's not fair. I know you didn't ask for it. I know you wish it didn't happen, but hear me. It happened, and it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility now. What you do with that pain is on you. What you build from it is on you. And what you become because of it, that's the part that shocks everyone. Because they thought you were weak, they thought you were done, they thought you were broken beyond repair. But you didn't break. You bent, but you didn't break. You cried, but you didn't quit. You bled, but you kept going. And now you're about to rise, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. That's how you shock them. Let me tell you something. Most people never understand consistency is the cheat code. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more people believing in you. You don't need a perfect plan or the right timing. You just need to keep showing up. That's it. That's the game. That's the difference between the people who dream and the people who dominate. They kept showing up long after the hype was gone. Everybody wants success until it starts feeling like work. Everybody wants the reward until they realize it's going to take repetition over and over, day after day, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. You know how people get shocked? You keep showing up when they expected you to quit. See, some of y'all think breakthrough is a moment. You think it's one big decision, one big opportunity. No, breakthrough is daily obedience. It's getting up and doing the work when no one's clapping.